In this video, we will demonstrate how to create a profit and loss by department and by dimension value. We're starting with a blank P&L spreadsheet where we have already populated the values that we're going to use. There's the GL account number, account names, net change, and then some blank spaces for the dimension values to calculate against, and then the totals. On the right, we have also already filled in our key with the connection, company, business unit, global dimension 1, global dimension 2, start date and end date. So we'll begin by pulling in the GL accounts. So select the first cell in this column, then make sure to select the Astral Reports tab, and then click Get Table on the ribbon and General Ledger Accounts. By default, the connection has been selected as we only have one tenant that we are analyzing from in this demo. Select the company name from the drop-down and then tick the Include Totaling Accounts option so that the totaling accounts are included in this report. Okay, so now click OK and the GL account numbers will be populated down the column. Next, select the first cell in the account column and go to Insert Function to place the first function. Select Astral Reports for the category and then BC GL name for the function and click OK. Now we need to fill in the function arguments. Starting with the connection and company, select them from the key, making sure to lock the values by clicking F4. Note here, if you only have one connection, then you don't need to fill in the connection argument. However, for demonstration purposes, we have. Now select the first GL account number for GL account, but this time only lock the column and leave the row to flow freely by adjusting the formula so that the $ is before the column number, but remove it from the row, such as in this example, $F16, and then click OK. So now copy this formula down the column, either by dragging it or double-clicking the corner, and all the account numbers will be populated using the same formula. Scrolling down, you can see when the balance sheet values begin, but we don't necessarily need to see these, so we'll highlight all the rows involved and right-click to delete. This is a standard Excel function. So now, all we have on the spreadsheet is the P&L accounts. Now, to populate the net change, again, click on the first cell of the column and go to Insert Function again. With Astral Reports still as the category, select BCGL amount for the function and click OK. Fill in the connection and company as before, locking them in using F4 as these values will not be changing. Then select the start and end dates from the key, locking them in too. Select the GL account from the GL account number column and lock it the same as before, where the column is locked but the row can move freely. Then click OK and copy the formula down the column to populate the rest of the net change data. Now, just to make it a bit easier to read which are the totaling accounts and which aren't, select the accounts that are not in caps, so the regular GL accounts, and indent them. But this is purely to make the report easier to read. Also, for the particular calculated amounts, like cost of goods sold and net income, you could leave them in or calculate them separately if you wanted. Now we'll look at the values according to some dimensions. Selecting the first empty cell, select the Astral Reports tab and go to Get Tables, then Dimension Codes. Select the company name again and then the dimension code. In this case, we'll go for department. Now make sure Fill Across Rows is ticked on so that the dimensions fill across the top of the report and click OK. In the last column, we will place an @ symbol. As mentioned in a previous video, the @ symbol represents any dimensions that are outside of the specified dimensions of ADM, man, prod, and sales. So by having a column that represents everything outside of those dimensions, this allows you to make sure that the totals are correct. And now we'll place the dimension functions. Select the first cell in the first dimension column, in this case I16 for ADM, then go to Insert Function. Now select the function BCGLAmount and click OK. Then fill in the connection and company function arguments as before, locking the cells. This time, for Global Dimension 1, select the first department code from the spreadsheet, but this time lock the row and allow the column to move freely. Then fill in the start date and end date, locking the cells. For GL amounts, select the first GL account number, but lock the column and leave the row to move freely. You can of course include additional currency at this stage. However, for this demonstration we will not include it. There is a separate video and help page on using the additional currency function if you would like. So for now, click OK. And now drag the formula across the dimensions, and then copy it down the page. And then we'll just change the formatting slightly on the figures. Now to finish, we'll fill in the total column. Select the first cell and type in a simple formula that will add up the figures across the dimension values. Then copy the formula down once again. So now you can see that the dimension values total is the same as the net change. At the bottom, the total for the totaling accounts has also been calculated. But you can manually check the net income value by placing a simple formula below it and adding up the totaling accounts. And finally, you can use the standard Excel function of hiding the GL account number column if you wanted to. And there you have it. That's a completed profit and loss report by department.